Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to another edition of My Guest List Pod. I'm your host, Darren, and this is the show where the guests on my list get to have some fun with their favourite list countdowns, and we get to know them and their work a little better. And today's show is, in fact, the finale to Season 2. It's been another long season that has had its interruptions in me getting shows out, but unlike the first season, these generally did not involve me accidentally maiming myself. So I guess that's a plus. If you're new to the show and you're not quite sure what I'm referring to, just take a listen through the first season and you'll get the drift. Now, I will be coming back with a third season.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Sorry, Michael, but I have already started recording episodes for that season and I'm hoping to make it the best so far. To date, I have launched my feature-packed website with Podpage, affiliate links in the show notes, which makes it easier than ever to listen to the latest episodes, register as a guest, or contact and support the show all in one place. I have already had 2 new guests registered through the website, which was a simple and efficient process. I might actually make my first blog post about my experience with Podpage and creating my website. We'll see. As all of my interviews have been remote so far, and probably will be in the future, I've also shelled out for Riverside to enhance the remote recording quality. Riverside will also allow me to possibly play with some live streaming, but that's not something I'm concentrating on as a priority at the moment. And who knows, I might even start to do some videos to go along with the audio show on YouTube, another benefit of Riverside's features. Affiliate links also in the show notes. Anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into the next season. To today's show, and I couldn't think of 2 better people to have on as guests to round out my second season of podcasting. James and Tiegan from the Court Case podcast are 2 of the nicest individuals that I have spoken to so far, and a great example of the spirit of indie podcasters. I met these 2 in an Instagram indie podcasters group where they are very active and also very supportive of other creators. I listened to a few of their shows and I knew straight away that I wanted to chat with them and highlight their entertaining and ever-evolving podcast. Now, James and Tiegan chose to count down a list on the same topic that my previous guest had counted down 2 episodes ago, namely movies that left a lasting impact or changed your view of the world, which I initially thought might be a bit repetitive for anyone regularly who listens to the show. However, I think what it did illustrate was the fact that as everyone's journey through life is unique, so are the influences that help shape our outlook on life. Like Daniel Frankham, James and Tiegan came up with a poignant list of movies and similarly interesting and meaningful explanations as to why these movies had such an impact on their lives. So sit back, relax, and don your finest lawyer's wig or join the jury as we put James and Sweet Tea into the witness box and enjoy some Court Case podcast cross-examination.
Hi there, I'm Matthew McConaughey. Some of you might know me from my work as an actor. Other people might know me for being one of the most quotable actors of all time. But when I'm not making movies or making something that gets turned into a meme, I love to listen to the Court Case podcast. All right.
So, James Court and Sweet Tea, welcome to my guest list pod. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're so happy to be here.
Not a problem. What time is it over there for you guys?
It is
2:03.
Yeah,
in the afternoon.
Nice. Okay, very good. It's about 11 o'clock here at night, but it's great because
Wow.
everyone's going to bed and all the birds outside are also fairly quiet, so you won't get any menagerie noises coming in through the mic. So
You've stayed up late for us. That's nice.
That's all right. Pleasure. So, guys, tell me about yourselves. I listened to your podcast, obviously, but tell the world about James Court and Sweet Tea.
So I'll start with me. So my name's James Court, and as we said, we're both from the UK. I started out in radio. I worked for a fairly big radio station in the UK called Capital FM, and I worked there for a little time. But then the radio station closed down, and the COVID lockdown happened, and so I sort of was stuck at home and trying to think of how to hone my audio creativity. So I created my own podcast called the Court Case Podcast, which has now been going for about a year and a half. And Sweet Tea is my co-host. And so I do that now, and I've managed to get full-time work off of that as well. So I now do Court Case, and I also produce another podcast for some other people called The Search for the Soulful Leader. And so that's my day job now. I do both podcasts all day, every day.
So that's it. You don't actually have another job. That's pretty much all you do now.
No, I just do podcasting now.
How lucky are you? Yeah. That's fantastic.
I know, yeah. I count my blessings every day.
Very good. And Sweet Tea, you have your ideal job as far as I can ascertain from the podcast?
Yeah, so I've just got my dream job of cabin crew. So I'm just starting out that. So at the moment, the podcast is a little bit on a break whilst I step into that new lifestyle. But for everyone on the podcast, my real name isn't Sweet Tea, it is Tiegan. James calls me Sweet Tea because it's just a name that's just been going on, really.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, but we're both in the process of moving into our own place as well, closer to where we both sort of work. So we're just we've ended the season 3 of Court Case, and we're going to move into our new place. And then around June time, we're going to kick off a new season with a new recording place and things. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Great.
Exciting thing.
Do you actually record in are you looking to record in a studio, or are you building a home studio, or?
Normally, we record at home at my house, well, technically my mum's house, and I've got like a podcast deck and a podcast setup, but I have to sort of set it up every time we record, and it's quite a lot of equipment, so it can be a bit of a faff. But now we're moving into our own place where I can dedicate a personal podcast setup that's always going to be there, so I can just be recording as much as I want, whenever I want, and put out a lot more content. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's what everyone aspires to, having a dedicated area that they can just jump into and get on with. So fantastic. Where are you guys, without giving me street address, and where are you guys located in UK?
We're in
England.
We're in the south of England, in sort of like America's got states. England is split up into, they're called counties, and we're in a county called West Sussex. So we're currently in a sort of seaside town and village in the south coast, but we're moving into a city called Brighton, which a lot of people have probably heard of.
Beach area.
It's quite a popular city in the UK, which is also by the sea, and that's where sort of both of us are going to be working near there.
It's like an hour out from where we are here. So
okay, great. Yeah. We have actually a suburb here called Brighton that's actually by the sea as well.
Oh wow!
Yes. Oh, great. That's very good. I've actually interviewed a few guys from UK, from England as of late. The guys from We Have Been Watching and Pods Like Us. Obviously,
Marv. Marv. I love Marv.
Marv's a great guy. Yeah, definitely. So, you said it started about a year and a half ago, the podcast?
Yes.
Was it a product of lockdown, or was it something you had always intended?
100%. Well, basically, when I was working at Capital FM, I sort of noticed how different radio shows were from podcasts, and particularly how censored a lot of radio is. I've listened to a lot of American radio, which is not as censored as it is in the UK. In the UK, there's so much you can't do and you can't say that a lot of the conversations just come off as so flavourless and just filler. And when I left Capital FM, I was like, if I want to get into radio or something like that, I want to be able to create a show where it's not censored. I can talk about what I want. I can find unique sex or relationship type topics or news stories that it could be controversial to talk about. And so I did have a student radio show when I was at uni called In Your Face with James Court. And I sort of took some aspects of that for example, we have a relationship segment called Courting with James, and that is pulled straight from my student radio show because I used to do that there as well. And it was just, I sort of treated it as like sort of uncensored radio, my podcast really, where we just sort of find topics each episode that interest us, that we think other people would like, may not have heard of before. And then they can go, that's interesting, and just pass the stories on to other people. And I just sort of worked on that throughout lockdown, and we've just, it's gotten a bit popular. There's a lot of dedicated people that like it, and and I love doing it.
I was never meant to be a co-host either.
Sweet Tea just came on as
for the first episode because you wanted to start it off.
Yeah, I was going to originally have a different guest on every single episode, sort of like, because it's called Court Case, sort of like a new like victim or whoever in the courtroom. But then we released the first episode and we gave it to friends and family and other people for feedback, and they just said that they really liked our chemistry. Yeah. And so I kept Sweet Tea on, and we sort of get a guest on every like third or fourth episode, and then but the majority of episodes are me and T giving our verdict on the topics together.
Yeah, look, I've listened to probably a dozen of your episodes, including the first one, and when I heard you two guys together, I thought to myself, and I understood that Sweet Tea was not supposed to be a full-time co-host, but I thought, why not? You guys have a fantastic chemistry.
It's so funny though, because I look back on the first episode and I think I feel like confidence-wise, I've come so far. Like I was so scared for that first recording, and now it doesn't even faze me.
I've got a co-worker at my other job, and they all listen to the Court Case, my podcast. And she says her favourite thing about the podcast is how sassy Sweet Tea gets about certain topics.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, your Halloween episode actually was fantastic because you guys really, there was a little bit of banter there that was not the usual. Like you weren't agreeing with each other, and Sweet Tiegan was really, she was really putting you to task.
Though, because that's such like, I don't know, I feel like that's such a thing between us, but like from other people from our perspective, they might actually think that we're arguing.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's literally just banter. So I'm glad you picked up that it was banter.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was good. It was funny. I really enjoyed that one. It was good. So. So is there a style of podcast or episode that you do that you prefer? Like you've done, I really enjoyed also the Azaria Chamberlain court case one that you went over.
Yeah.
That was really good. And that actually, you actually came up with some stuff that I didn't know about that case, which was great. So I learned some stuff on there. Is there a type of episode that you prefer to do or that you like doing more than others?
Yeah, one that I think my favourite ones that I like to do, which I'm hoping that moving into this new place where I've got more space and time, I can do more of, is ones like the Azaria Chamberlain one, the Dingo Ate My Baby case, ones where I've researched really, really thoroughly.
You had pages.
But also that Sweet Tea knows nothing about.
Okay.
Because I like bringing these things, having all this info and getting T's genuine reaction when she doesn't know anything about it. I think that's where it gets entertaining, because T's then becoming the voice of the audience in a way.
Okay.
And I think those are my favorite, because we've done a couple of those. The other one that comes to mind is the Alcatraz episode. We did one on the famous escape from Alcatraz, and I really thoroughly researched that as well. Yeah. And I think those are some of our best. Those ones, and then ones like the Halloween episode where we're sort of a bit looser. We've got basically, for those ones like the Halloween episode, I have more topics than would fit in an episode. Yep. And it's just really sort of loose, and I will just throw like topics at T, and then we'll just have arguments and sort of debates about them. And I think those sort of, and I think having the option to do different sort of types of episodes, I think keeps it fresh as well.
Yeah.
But I think those are my two sort of favourites.
Yeah, definitely. I agree there, because when I pick some episodes to go through, I always start with the first episode, and then usually maybe the third, and then the sixth, and then on from there. But I actually decided to look for different types of episodes that you were doing as well, just to see what your format was like with the different episodes. And like you said, that keeps it fresh, and it was really enjoyable. So yeah, that was kudos. It was great. It was fantastic. So keep doing that.
Thank you so much. You will.
Very good. All right. So I do get my guests on to count down a list to help us further get to know their personality. So do you want to tell everyone what topic you've chosen to count down this week?
Yes, we thought was an interesting one. It was 10 movies that have left a lasting impact on your life or changed your view.
That's a great topic, and I think there's one other guest that's actually chosen that topic too. And so which is good though, because I like to see what movies have had different movies have had an impact on different individuals, and for obviously different reasons too. So, all right, well, look, why don't we hop straight into it? Why don't we go with your number 10? Yeah,
well, I think we'll preface this list by saying
order.
That it's not in any particular order, but I would probably put this one as number 10.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Higher up the list for you, maybe. Sweet Tea does not watch as many movies as I do.
He's a film nerd.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm a big film buff. I took film and TV at uni. Clearly, I've not used the degree. I love films, but this one, number 10, was definitely a pick by you.
Yeah, I mentioned it, didn't I?
It's called Me Before You. Do you want to explain what the film is?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know. I'm not very good with actors or anything like that. So if you can jump in at any point.
Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's one of the main characters, and she's looking after a gentleman who's in a wheelchair, and he's really ill, and he's like close to dying, and they end up falling in love, and she breaks the rules of being a carer by taking him on his last holiday. And it's just really romantic, and it's really, really lovely.
Yeah. And I think the reason that film sort of left an impact on me is because I've never really seen a movie that's covered assisted suicide before. And the end, and I mean, obviously that's a plot point in the film, so I suppose it's one of the main plot points. I suppose it's not. It's like a main plot
it's
point,
what happens.
But he's a guy that he plans to end his life at some point.
And he begs for help.
I think you go to certain countries. There's countries like I think maybe Sweden or Norway that do it legally.
It's legally, it's legal.
Yeah. So his family have helped sort that out for him, and then he meets this woman, and then that she sort of helps him have a really nice last time before
they have a lovely relationship for a month before it happens. And it just I think the impact was just seeing someone having the balls to end their life on their terms and start. It has impacted me greatly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty sad movie, and you would leave a very emotional movie. I dare say my wife would love it.
Yeah.
Sappy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9.
Number 9 is one that's a bit more personal to me this time.
Yeah.
It's Onward, which is a Pixar film that came out. It literally came out, I think, a month before the lockdowns happened in England, because it was the last Pixar movie they released in cinemas before they started releasing more on Disney+. And the plot of the film is these two brothers. They live in a fantasy world. They're like elves, and they find a staff that their dead father gives to them as a birthday present, where it has a spell on it where they can bring their dad back for a day and spend time with their dad. Okay. And it's about them trying to make the spell work. And me and my brother lost our father when we were quite young. I was about 19, 18. And so seeing that film and just that plot that really was so personal it was literally like Pixar had written this film exactly for me and my brother.
Because I'm not even joking. The two characters look identical to James and his brother. It was freaky. It was weird.
Yeah. So that one made me cry a lot because it was so personal to me. But it's just, it
was beautiful though, wasn't it?
It was a really beautiful film.
Yeah, it was
nice.
Look, this is your list, and that's, obviously that movie had a great impact. And I had a similar sort of experience with A.I., with the end of that movie, where, is it Haley Joel Osment? I think he's the little robot boy. And he gets to spend, the aliens give him one day with his mother, And that was one movie for me for a similar sort of reason that it left a lasting impact, and I could see how that would be very impactful for you in terms of that movie. So I'm definitely going to watch it. It's got a mad cast: Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's crazy,
and they give really good voice performances. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the mum is great because obviously she's from Seinfeld and I love Seinfeld, but it's one of my favorite Pixar's. I think it's in like my top 3. It is really good.
I had never heard of it, and I don't get to watch as many movies as I used to, but I usually, with the animated stuff, because I've got my boys and things like that, we're usually onto all that sort of stuff. And I had actually when was it? It's I think where is it? Trying to see when it came out, but
2020, I think.
2020.
2019.
Yeah.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, it's 2020. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, you got it right there, Tiegan. So, yeah, fantastic. I'm definitely going to go watch this because it's obviously a really good movie. So,
tell us what you think after you've seen it.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, I won't tell you if I cried though.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Number 7. Are we up to 7 or 8?
Number 8.
No,
number 8. Sorry, number 8. Yes.
Now this one is basically another one that's basically solely me because
I haven't watched.
Has not seen it, but I picked the Lord of the Rings.
Now the
reason. Now the reason I picked the Lord of the Rings is it came out when I was I think I was 7 or 8, and they were the first sort of movies that I went and saw with my dad. Specifically, actually, we saw the last one with my dad. He hadn't watched the other 2, and because we and my brother were so desperate to see it, he sat down one evening on his own and watched the first 2, so he could then come and take us to Return of the King. And I've watched it every year since. I've got the extended editions. What I love about it is it's this huge grand movie, but it's so British. Almost all the actors are English. The hobbits and stuff, they're so quintessentially British. They have full English breakfasts, and they love tea, and they love sitting at a warm fire. Yeah. And it's it opened the whole world to cute little Britishness, and I love it. I love it so much for that reason, and also the theme of the movie being it doesn't matter how small you are and how inconsequential you might think you are, you can make massive changes.
Yeah.
And just that theme is just something that I've always thought about throughout the whole of my life. Just you may seem like you're a tiny speck, but you can make so much difference.
Yeah, fantastic.
And I just think it's a really powerful message.
Yeah. On the surface, that movie is what it is in terms of, Peter Jackson did a fantastic job of taking it from the book and then putting onto screen, and it was amazing. But it's things like that you can take away when you look a little bit deeper into it. And have you read the books?
Yes, I read The Hobbit every single year without fail, and I've read The Lord of the Rings, all 3 of them, twice, I think.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, well, I think you can really appreciate what Peter Jackson did with the movies if you've read the books, because that adaptation, it's very rare to get something that is as good as what he did. And I read the books as a kid myself, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and it's a great takeaway from the movie that it doesn't matter how small you are, you can have a huge impact in the world, and that's really good.
I know that Sweetie's never see them, and whenever I mention them, she sort of snuffs her nose up at them. But I'm looking forward to the day when we finally sit down and watch them, and her mind's going to change. She's going to eat her words. I'm very excited.
I don't know what it is, because I was like this with the Marvels, and James has shown me all the Marvels. Loved them. Loved them. I just prejudge. I don't know why. I normally do enjoy them.
We got Doctor Strange this evening, so we're going to love that.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Well, look, I don't know about you, Tiegan, but with me, there's been some movies that have come around that are really hyped, and because they're hyped, I don't necessarily want to go see them straight away while everyone else is talking about it and hyped and things like that. Sometimes you get them spoiled for you because of that, but my son wanted me to watch there's a few movies he's wanted me to watch for ages, and he keeps pressing me to. And the more he presses, the less I want to watch them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
I do get that.
Yeah. So sometimes
when it's like been so long as well, I feel like it's been out for so long. I'm like, there's no point me watching it now. Like it's been and gone.
Yeah.
But the thing for me with Lord of the Rings as well, where I think it's like sort of different from Star Wars, is there's definitely people that watch Star Wars and they just don't like it. But there's some sort of evergreenness to the Lord of the Rings where I feel like anyone could sit down and they will find some sort of enjoyment from it. And I can't wait for you to watch it at some point.
Let's see if it happens.
Yeah.
You have to set aside a fair bit of time to actually watch them, obviously, because they're pretty long movies. And have you ever seen the extended cuts?
I know. Your dad loves them.
Yeah, he does. My dad does enjoy them.
Yeah, you have to devote a lot of time, but not just from James, but from me, I'll say they're worth it. They're it's fantastic. And I would say obviously watch The Hobbit first, that series, and then obviously roll into Lord of the Rings as the books. Have you read the other books like Silmarillion and things like that?
I've bought a couple that I'm like saving until I've moved into my own place and I can just sit in my living room and read them. I've bought the Silmarillion, and I've bought there was another one, I think it's called like The Fall of Gondolin or something.
Yes, yeah.
I'm going to try reading those.
There's a couple of other ones too that came out called Unfinished Tales, and I can't remember.
I really want to read that one.
Yeah. There's another one too. I can't remember what it is. I've got them downstairs. I haven't had a chance to read them yet, but I think they were finished by his son.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Christopher Tolkien.
Yes, yeah. So, so I've got them downstairs, but there's so many books I've got to get around to reading that I haven't had a chance to.
I could speak about the Lord of the Rings for hours.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's instead of doing that, we can do that another day. We'll just devote a whole podcast to it. So, how about
we'll come on again once I've watched it, and then we'll have a discussion.
That'd be great. All right. Yeah. Why don't we move on to number 7 this time?
Now, this is one that we've both watched, and we both watched it recently. Forrest Gump is what we've chosen.
A classic.
That film never fails to make me cry.
Just beautiful.
It is beautiful, and it's another one about underestimating people again. Like, he sat on this bench. Another thing that I don't think other people don't always take away because they're so focused on Forrest's life in that film is that he sat on a bench and new people come and sit down with him throughout the movie. And it's just something like you don't know what's going on in someone else's life. You just don't know. The amount of people that have sat down and just learned about his thrilling journey and the amount of effect that he's had on the history of the USA. Yeah. And it's incredible. And another bit is that never fails to make me cry. Most people cry when, obviously, spoiler, but it's been out for like 30 years. And obviously most people cry when Jenny dies, but when he finds out that he's got a son and he's asking Jenny whether his son is smart or not, that kills me every time. Yeah. Every time.
I think I have a bit of a controversial opinion because I can't stand Jenny.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Jenny.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Loads of people don't like Jenny.
Yeah, I don't like what she did.
She just keeps buggering off. And
it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand your feeling towards that. It's funny, James, you were talking about how people sit down next to him. One of the lasting images I have from that movie is when he gets through telling some of his stories and the old lady or the older lady that's sitting next to him, the look of awe on her face as she's he's finishing his story. So
that one little scene where she purposefully misses her bus so she can sit with him for a bit longer. Yeah, I love it. Just little moments like that. I love it so much.
Because she could tell that he just needed to talk. It's so lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic, classic movie. That's great. All right, cool. All right, look, that's 10 to 7. How about we get back to talking about you and your podcast just for a little sec, and then we can continue on with the list in a minute.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you some more questions about your podcast, but for now I'd also like to find out, what do you guys do for fun? What hobbies or what interests you have outside of podcasting and jet setting around the world?
Well, we like a holiday, but we can't afford to go on many, so we don't go on many often. But I mean, we love a good night out. We love a good drink.
Our hobby together is probably mini golf. We love that. We do that everywhere we go. It's just like our little Yeah, it's a little thing that we just do. If we see one, we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I never noticed how much we play.
We've done it a lot. Yeah.
It was good. Nice.
Do you collect anything from the mini golf places that you go? Like,
I keep the scorecards.
Oh, nice.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I need to see those.
I'm winning at the moment.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, do you follow sport at all, or do you play sport, or do anything else?
No, I've never really been much of a sport buff. I really keep up with like movies and movie news
Okay.
and TV a lot. And me and T love watching new series on TV together. We love a good sitcom, sitting and watching those. I'm quite obsessed with film and TV, so I keep up with all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So what are you watching at the moment on TV, Netflix or something like that?
Well, we're on the final season of Better Call Saul, which is airing at the moment, which is very exciting because it's going to start overlapping with Breaking Bad, which is obviously one of the best shows that was ever made. We love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We will just watch rerun episodes of that all of the time.
So easy and funny to watch, isn't it?
And we also like diving into a good like Netflix documentary, good true crime ones. There's one coming up soon about that sperm doctor that swapped out loads of people's sperm for his own.
Absolutely vile. I didn't know if I could stop it.
Yeah, I'm quite excited to see the seediness of that disgusting documentary soon. Yeah.
I couldn't even finish the Jimmy Savile one.
Oh, I watched that. That was incredible and disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched that with my my eldest boy had actually watched that, and he said, "Dad, you have to watch this." And we sat down and we watched it, and that was amazing that he got away with it for so long.
Mad.
Something that I'd be interested in asking you is obviously you're from Canada.
No, I'm from Australia.
Oh, you're from Australia, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. We were talking to someone earlier this morning that was from Vancouver, that's why. Okay. You're from Australia, and so you guys probably weren't that aware of like Jimmy Savile beforehand.
I knew who he was, but I didn't know how popular he was in England when he was at his prime, obviously. But I knew the name because he was obviously very influential at that time, and so we hear about a lot of that stuff here. But no, I didn't realize there was so much of a story behind who he was until I watched the doco.
But that's what the documentary does well, because it's 2 episodes. In the first episode, they really set up like why he was so popular and why he was such a big name, and then the second episode is where it gets like really seedy. But yeah, it's just all of England was just disgusted and ashamed, and it was it's terrible.
Yeah, and the fact that he had such close ties with such influential people, including the royal family. Yeah. So really interesting.
Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fine, fantastic. So I'm interested to know what has the podcast been for your? What has it done for your relationship? Has it been something that you just rolled into nice and easy? It's something that's brought you closer together, or something that came naturally?
Good question.
That is a very good question. I definitely think it's brought us closer together as well. I think it's helped.
We've like developed like a love and a hobby together, haven't we?
And it's definitely helped your confidence a lot in a way as well. And I don't think the court case would be what it is if you weren't involved. And I do think it's definitely strengthened us in that way, and I can't imagine doing it without you now.
It's taken up a lot of time as well. Like we've achieved a lot of things. Like we've done loads of collabs with cool people. We went with Audio Mango. We've collabed with people that I've spoken to, people that we probably never would have spoken to before.
Dream Come True Graduate Report.
Yeah, and we also we've gone to a podcast event together, and we're going to more. So
great.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a nice thing that we're doing together. 100%.
Yeah.
Look, that comes across in the show, and I think as I listen to more episodes, and Tiegan, you got a lot more comfortable. I think the dynamic is really, really good, and it was good to begin with, but I think it's gotten better over time too.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
So, what does a week look like for you guys now that you're James? You're so involved in doing podcasting as your full-time job. What does a week look like for you?
So, well, at the moment, our weeks are sort of changing every time. But normally, I work 9 to 5 with the other podcast. But the thing is, I've got a lovely boss who's really flexible, and he lets me do court case work in between those times. As long as I get like the work done for him, I can just do sort of court case in those hours as well. So most of my days are just sort of doing both of those sort of things, and I can most of the time I work from home, but there's also an office in Brighton where we're moving to, and whereas T, you're sort of waiting to do your first flight at the moment. So your days are mostly filled with just doing whatever you want to do at the moment.
Relaxing at the moment, the calm before the storm.
In terms of recording court case, we would normally record on a Saturday or Sunday. We would try to do more than one episode at a time. I just get a laundry list of a huge amount of topics that I found throughout the week, and we'd try and record a couple episodes, which we would then sort of space out. But obviously, we're not doing that at the moment while we're in this transitionary period. But that's sort of what a week would basically look like.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, well, I guess, Tiegan, you're now going to be away from home a lot more, so you're going to have to maybe come in on remote a couple of times.
Potentially.
Oh, great. Oh, good. It's all experience, I guess.
Or even bulk record, I guess. But the thing is with bulk recording is topics don't align with when they came out.
Not as recent.
Not as recent,
I guess it's all experience if you start to learn how to, refine remote recording together and things like that. It's just another string to the bow that you can have as a couple and going forward with your podcast, which is great.
Yeah, that's why I think when we move in together, because luckily for me, I only have to set aside an hour because James does all the editing work. So it shouldn't be too bad for me.
Finding the spare hour just to sit you down in the chair.
Sit down in the chair in a house that we live in. Like, it'll be fine.
James, what do you use to edit?
So what I use to edit is I use two programs, actually. One of them I discovered through work, and it's literally revolutionized editing for me. It makes it so much easier. It's this program called Descript, and you get the audio that you've recorded, you drag and drop it into this program Descript, and it translates all of the audio into a Word document, and then you can basically delete words and delete sentences you don't like or don't want, and it will cut it off the audio, just like you're editing a Word document, and it streamlines it and it makes it so much easier, and you can see with your eyes all of the words from the podcast, which helps. And then after I've done that sort of little initial edit on there, I will take it into an audio program called Reaper. And I will do all of the sort of sound design, adding jingles, cleaning up audio and stuff in there, and then I'll put the episode out.
Fantastic. Okay, that's good. Yeah, no, I've heard of Reaper and Descript, and Descript I had a look at their studio option, so that you put the audio and it turns it into sort of like a studio sound, but I haven't really followed through it. It's a bit of a learning curve with it, and I just hadn't had the time. So, okay, very good.
The pros far outweigh the cons. With the only con really is that you've got to pay for it, but it's not too expensive. But also you can create a lot of your social media on Descript as well, where you've got the transcripts. They've got this little video function, and you can drag images in and basically create TikToks and stuff. With the audio right there. So once you learn everything, it's such a handy tool.
Okay. And so what are you looking at maybe doing any other podcasts in the future, or are you going to look more at maybe going into producing more podcasts and just stay with Court Case?
I want to stay with Court Case, and I want to hopefully in the future towards the end of the year, start of next year, I want to try and maybe like pitch it to some sort of studios where it could get some proper money behind it. Because I think the name Court Case and Court Case Podcast, I think it is definitely like a brandable name. It's catchy. It's got a hook. I think that it's sellable. I think with
multiple meanings as well.
Yeah, with enough marketing and money behind it, I think it could be it has the potential to be something really big. So I do want to try like pitching it to other studios, I think, in the future. Yeah,
that's great. Look, it's a denser field now in terms of there's a lot of podcasts out there, and it's harder than it probably was when I was just listening to podcasts to make yourself known and to stand out. So obviously you have a lot of things that you want to do with your show, and it's going to be a lot of work, I dare say, but looks like the fact that you can devote so much time to it, then obviously that puts you in good stead, because a lot of people like myself, for example, just do this as, a hobby as such. And I've got to pay the bills some other way. So, I'd like to do this more often, and I'd like to be able to organise more interviews and things like that. But at the moment, not the case. So I love seeing someone that can follow that dream. And obviously, we'll keep in touch over social media and stuff, and I'll see how you, both of you guys are progressing. So,
it's exciting.
Very good.
I didn't know what a podcast was until we started one, which is quite funny. But now I see them everywhere.
Yeah,
lockdown just skyrocketed it. Not only people were listening to more, but people had
even
spare
YouTubers now.
More.
YouTubers 9 times out of 10, they've all got a podcast now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, there's a couple of guys.
Kind of annoying. What kind of annoys me is you've got people like us, like you and me, that are at home and like we're putting a lot of effort into these and we're trying our best.
Like our side hustle.
Yeah, but then you'll get these podcasters that they'll just be like a random celebrity that also got millions of quid. And just because they've got a mic and money to sort of make their own studio, they're suddenly just got thousands and thousands of listeners. And it is frustrating.
That's frustrating. Yeah, it is a little demoralizing. We have the same thing here. We have people who have been, they're not what you call celebrities, but they're known. They've been on TV shows, and they all of a sudden they've decided to start a sporting podcast and interview, and they have access. They have access that I'll never have. I don't at the moment have to, personalities and sportsmen that, they just make a phone call and there they are, and they're doing an interview with them. So I guess it's paying your dues, but that's frustrating when they can circumvent all that.
It's the same with radio in the UK, because now there's so much less radio stations in the UK. And then if you want to be a radio host, a lot of the time they just get in some celebrity to do the morning show. And so that's to get listens. A professional radio host is then missing out on a job because they've just gotten a celebrity in for their name. It's also like, you see it with movies as well. It's like, if I was an actor, I get so pissed off if Taylor Swift was now in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, you'd go and fucking sing a song. Like,
exactly.
Let's look at that, please.
No, I understand completely. Yeah, it's look, I guess there is the work that they did to get where they are with their own career, and they're just making the most of it. So I understand. I'd probably do the same thing.
And that's
in the position we would.
If you got offered
we're not,
to be in
so
a
we're
movie.
annoyed.
Yeah, exactly right. Very good. Look, I've got to ask you about one thing in particular as well. So you guys love Squid Game. One of the episodes I was listening to, you loved Squid Game. I'm not a fan at all, but you redeemed yourself by loving the boys. So
well, I originally didn't like Squid Game.
No,
because you had to really convince me to watch the rest. I watched the first episode and I was like, because I don't like the Hunger Games either. I just don't like the idea of these people.
I like the Hunger Games.
See, I don't like the idea of these people not having a choice and then just getting put into these games and sort of like killed. Yeah. And so I didn't like the first episode of Squid Game. And then they did the second episode where they
had a choice.
And
they had a choice to come back.
Yeah.
So I completely changed it. I was like, okay, well, they've chosen to be in that. So they can, whatever happens, happens. But the boys is, it's such good TV.
Unbelievably good.
Well, I'll show you something. This is fantastic for radio and podcast and things like that. I'm going to show you something. But the only pop I own is
Billy Butcher. Somewhere I've got Huey somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I love the boys.
The boys.
Billy Butcher is a fantastic character.
It is. It's fantastic. I love Keith Urban as well. So in Carlo.
He's in Lord of the Rings as well, isn't he?
Yes, I think he was Boromir. Sorry.
Boromir's Sean Bean. He's Éomer, the Rohan.
Of course. Yes, it's been a long time since. So very good. That's right. Sean Bean died in another movie
year as well.
The new season's out next month.
Yes,
June 10th or something.
Yes. Exciting. And why does Sean Bean die in all these movies?
I know. He died in Game of Thrones, died in Lord of the Rings. Apparently, he's died in something like 50 films.
Yeah,
Sean Bean. Ridiculous. He just loves it. Apparently.
Must be in his contract.
Yeah.
Look, you get an extra $1 million if you die. So
yeah, he's all right.
very good. All right, guys, let's get back onto your list then. Let's come in at number 6.
Yeah, we've picked The Truman Show, which you've not watched.
I've seen loads of clips and I've heard really, really good things, and we are going to watch it, but I know it's good.
It's remarkable, and in many ways it's more relevant today than it was when it came out, because obviously it's a film about someone who's constantly being watched and they don't know they're being watched. And with social media and everything nowadays, and I was watching a podcast the other day where they were talking about like the Ukraine war and the fact that this is one of the first wars where we're seeing footage of it in real time just on people's phones. They're just uploading it straight to the internet. Like, everyone is just being watched like all the time, and it feels so much more relevant today. And also Jim Carrey gives such a beautiful, heartfelt performance of this innocent man that's grown up in a world that he feels is normal, and it's just completely not.
Yeah, and he's a slow awakening to what's actually going on. It's it's a really, it's funny. It's a feel-good movie in one way, but it's also a tragic movie in another way. And then when you add the Big Brother element to it as well, it's cruel to a certain extent as well. So a great pick, really good movie, and like you said, couldn't be more relevant than now. So yeah. All right, number 5.
Number 5 is one that we have both seen. It's called Hunt for the Wilder People. And I don't know if you've seen this one, but it's Taika Waititi, who's obviously a huge sort of director and sort of star now. And Sam Neill, who's another New Zealander.
Yes.
And one of my favourites. And it's about him and his wife adopt this little boy from the city, and they live out in the country. And the wife, who was the one that sort of cared about the boy more, ends up dying. And so the social services try and come and take the boy back. So then the dad and the boy run off into the woods and try and escape the social services. Okay. And it's just this really lovely feel-good film about like, it's the whole sort of message is, like, the family you choose sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be blood. Like, these people have such a strong bond and they want to, be together.
His love grows for his son as the movie goes on, which is really lovely to watch.
Nice.
It's great. It's bloody funny as well.
You wouldn't think it because of it's quite a raw film, but it is funny.
Taika Waititi is so good with humour.
Okay.
So good.
Well, does he play the rock guy out of one of the Marvel?
Yeah, he plays Korg.
Korg, that's right, yes. Yeah, it's very, very funny. And Julian Dennison in this Fire Fist from Deadpool 2. Yeah,
pardon?
Julian Dennison is the son in that one?
Yes, he is.
Fire Fist.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the second Deadpool movie.
Yeah, well, he does. Sorry, you were going to say?
I was just going to say, I want to see him in more. Those are the only 2 things I've seen him in. I want him to be in more stuff, the little boy. He's great.
Well, he's actually in something else out here. He's actually in some ads for razors.
That's great.
And he's actually funny in them as well. So,
I love that.
Yeah. He's a funny guy. I'd never seen him before, obviously, until I saw Deadpool 2. And then you suggested this movie, and I saw he was on there. And I thought, that's a reason for me to go watch it. Apart from Sam Neill. Sam Neill's great as well.
Yeah, I think Hunt for the Wilder People might have been his like first ever sort of like role.
Okay.
So it's like his breakout role, I think. And I've always loved Sam Neill ever since I was a kid. I love all his films. He did the film A Cry in the Dark, which was about, the Zara Chamberlain case. He's in that.
Yep.
And he's great in that film as well. And obviously Jurassic Park, he's in as well. I just love everything he's been in. He's in Thor as well. He has a really small role though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's he doing Thor?
So in the third Thor, in one of the scenes, there's a group of actors that are acting out the events of the previous Thor film.
Okay.
And one of the actors is Matt Damon, and another is Sam Neill, and the third one is Chris Hemsworth's brother, Luke.
Okay.
And so they play the actors.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Is that in Ragnarok?
Yeah, it's in Ragnarok, yeah.
I've seen that and I can't remember that scene, so I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Near the start.
Okay.
Yeah, go back and find it. But, Sam Neill plays Odin. the actor playing Odin.
Okay, no worries. I'll go back and watch that for sure. All right, fantastic. All right, we're up to number 4. Funnily enough, it has Sam Neill in it.
Yeah, it's another Sam Neill. This is my favourite film of all time.
Honestly,
ever.
you should see his room. He's got posters of this film.
Yeah, I do.
Around his room.
I don't know if I can move the front. I've got all 3 Jurassic Park.
You do
films.
too, all framed and looking fantastic.
I know, and I've got like props from the movie as well. I've got an actual.
You said the movie.
Jurassic Park. I didn't said it. Mental. I've got like a leaflet for the park that was used in the film somewhere.
Fantastic.
On a shelf up there.
Yeah.
And it's my all-time favorite film. It's such a good one. I love the way Spielberg just uses tension, and the dinosaurs in the film, you wouldn't think it, but they have less than 10 minutes of screen time.
Okay.
The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, but you just feel their presence. Like as soon as everything goes wrong, that they could just be anywhere. And the use of animatronics and just the fact that, it looks so real to this day. The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park look more real today than the dinosaurs in the Jurassic World movies that are coming out at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they use CGI such a little. And because our list, I was thinking about films that have a lasting impact. The way that they use CGI in Jurassic Park, loads of film directors were influenced by this specific film.
Okay.
After watching Jurassic Park, James Cameron decided that he could do the Avatar films in a few years. After watching Jurassic Park, George Lucas said that he could have a crack at making more Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
The amount of cinema that has changed because Jurassic Park came out is just it's mental. So much of cinema owes itself to Jurassic Park. And I just think that's what I just love it. And also, if you watch the film, I could talk about this for hours. If you watch the film itself is not about dinosaurs. It's about Sam Neill's character learning to be a father, because he gets stuck in the park with those 2 kids. And at the start of the film, they establish how much he hates children. And the whole film is about Sam Neill learning to like kids, and they've put dinosaurs around it. It's not focused on the dinosaurs. And that's what makes it a beautifully told film.
Yeah. And Laura Dern looking off from the side at how he's put into situations with the kids, and he's so uncomfortable, and she's just having a giggle at it. I love it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's a great movie. So, and
again, Laura Dern, one of the along with Sigourney Weaver in Aliens, is like one of the first strong female characters in movies. Like she's fantastic in this movie. I'm so excited to see all 3 of them again in the new one that's coming out in June.
Yes. Yeah.
That's gonna be good.
Look, it's funny that you say that about the animatronics too. That was one of the things I was talking to my eldest boy the other day about The Thing. And The Thing was big on, not using CGI back then with the Kurt Russell movie. And then the remake, they went the other way and they actually used CGI. And I think it was although it was an okay remake, it was a lesser film because of that.
It is. The Thing is so creepy. The animatronics they use in The Thing, it makes me shiver. It's so disgusting. I've only watched it once. They freak me out so much.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. That's one of I'm not a massive horror fan, but that's one of my favorite sort of horror movies is The Thing. I think it's it's a classic movie. So. But obviously, we're talking about your classic movies and Tiegan's classic movies, so we'll stay on Jurassic Park. But it's a great pick at number 4. So it's you're so you're such a big fan of Jurassic Park. I'm surprised it's not number 1.
I know. We initially didn't do the list in a particular order. I would have put Jurassic Park at number 1, but I thought I'd be more liberal with Sweet Tea.
Yeah,
and
very good. Be my number
some of hers as well.
Very good of you. So very good. Okay. All right. Look, why don't we?
This next one's probably my favourite.
Okay. Number 3.
Yeah, Soul. It's a Pixar again.
Okay.
Well, they're more ones.
Yeah, definitely recommend. I recommend this one to everyone because it's just so powerful. It's basically just like is he Mexican? No,
he's African American.
African American, and he's trying to find his purpose in life. And there's a scene where he dies, but he dies too early. I'm probably not explaining this very well.
What happens is he dies. He falls down like a drain, and then basically in this Pixar movie, souls are like real, and they get assigned to people, and you get like assigned a purpose to your soul, and then that soul attaches to a person. That's how you live your life. And basically, he dies, and then he meets the different souls as they're getting assigned to people and stuff. And the whole film basically is about not only is it about finding your purpose in life, but it's also about coming to terms with the fact that it's okay if you don't, and that if it's there's this wonderful scene near the end that brought tears to our eyes, which was just people finding joy in just like the little things. Like he was sat at his piano and he was looking at like a leaf moving on the windowsill, and he was feeling the breeze, and he was feeling the music, and it was just something so small. And this is probably the first Pixar film that I feel is adult. It's an adult film. I don't think I could put Soul down in front of small kids.
No, they wouldn't get it.
They would get it. They wouldn't. Okay. And I've seen a lot of critics say that as well. And I think it's honestly, I think it's a film that every adult, especially maybe our age, that's trying to figure out what the hell they should be doing with their life, I really think they should watch it.
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's so important.
Get the priorities straight, sort of thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now,
and it's like got the jazz music in it as well.
It's got cool music, and the animation is incredible. The Pixar's animation nowadays is just
top notch.
There was some shots of like a pizza, and it looked like a real pizza. It was amazing.
Yeah,
fantastic. Oh, definitely going to be checking that one out. And look, it wasn't also because Graham Norton and Richard Ayoade are in it as well.
Yeah, I forgot Richard Ayoade's in it. Yeah, I love him. He's so funny.
Yeah, I first saw him. I think was he in a TV series? Was it the
IT Crowd?
IT Crowd, yes, exactly. And then I saw him in The Watch, and I thought,
yes, The Watch is a funny film.
He's a funny guy. Yeah, but it's got a great cast: Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey. Felicia Rashad,
the thing is,
Alice Braga.
I feel like nowadays Pixar is like the most respected sort of like animation thing, and I feel like these actors they want to. If Pixar approaches them, they want to be in a Pixar movie. I think so. That's how they get the cast like these. So but it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, 100%.
That's one probably out of all of them. That's one of the ones that has definitely like changed my view.
No, I agree.
On life after.
I remember we both finished that. We're just like, wow.
Yeah,
we were like speechless. We were just like, that's so cool. And then we went straight downstairs and we told your mom to watch it.
Yeah,
that's great. That's lovely. I guess so. It gave you more of appreciation to
stop and enjoy,
step back, and
not feel like, because the guy at the start of this movie, every single decision he was making was in service of what he thought his purpose was, which was to be a jazz musician. And it's about the fact that you can stop. You can have that purpose, but you can stop. You can take your time. You can enjoy little things other people. And it's and
you're not on a time scale. Like you don't have to figure your life out at the same time as everyone else. Like this guy was a lot older than other people that were in this soul universe trying to figure their thing out. So
Okay, fantastic. Yep, definitely going to put that one on the list as well. So
definitely.
You've got two Pixars on your list.
Well, look, I grew up the last, obviously, 20 years with my boys. We've watched a lot of Pixar. But I like them too. I enjoy them. So that's a plus. So
they're technically the most successful movie studio in Hollywood because they've only had one bomb. Which was, I think, The Good Dinosaur. Every film that they brought out has been a hit.
Yeah. And look,
single one.
Monsters Inc. has been, a family favourite here for until the boys got old enough to not really care about it. But when they were all young, to each one of them, they love that movie. So,
yeah. And it's just the ideas that they come up with. Like,
so cool.
Monsters being scared of the kids.
Yeah.
What an inspired and great idea.
And
it's
inside
great.
out, where your emotions are in your head. Like, that's so cool. Really cool.
Okay, so let's get into your number 2. And speaking of movies that are a staple in this house, or they were when my boys were young, I think this was one of them. What's your number 2?
Really? Brother Bear? that's great because I feel like it's slept on a lot. Like it's one of those Disney films that not too many people have watched. And I think it's a travesty. I think it's got, because people always talk about how they cry at The Lion King and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think in Brother Bear has got arguably a sadder scene, which is when but it's been out ages, so we'll talk about the plot.
Of course.
But obviously, it's about this group of Inuit, sort of like older cave people, and one of them kills a bear, and the gods punish him by turning him into a bear.
Yep.
And the scene and he obviously meets the little bear cub, and he goes on a journey. And the scene when he finds out that the bear that he killed was the little bear cub's mum, I think, and he has to tell the kid that is arguably a much sadder scene than like The Lion King.
It's heart-wrenching.
And it's so heart-wrenching. And the way they use Phil Collins's music.
I was about to say the music is amazing.
The music's fantastic.
Yeah.
Both films he's done, the music in this and Tarzan are just fantastic. But yeah, that film always had a lasting impact on me. I remember watching it when I was young, and I just remember not any other. I think Mum bought it just from like a supermarket, just as a film to like shut us up, sort of thing. And I remember watching it and just being blown away by it, and no one else that I knew had watched it. And just also the way that it looks beautiful, the scenery in that film, all the backgrounds are just like painted, beautiful mountains.
Yep.
And I think it's a really good film about like brothers and about family bonds and stuff like that. And you don't get enough of that nowadays. Like Onward is also a film about brothers as well, but you don't normally get it. A lot of films nowadays are skewing away from that sort of message. Mm-hmm. And I think like brotherly and sibling bonds and stuff can be quite important.
100%. And that's why I get so upset when my boys decide to start belting each other. So...
yeah.
So we've tried to engender them with a love. They have a love for each other, obviously, but we've tried to get them to be as close as we can in terms of brothers, and they're so close in age too. My two little ones, they're only 15 and a half months apart, and
wow.
as young boys, they were like twins. So I have a Snapchat. We have lots of Snapchat groups, and one of the Snapchat groups that I have is called Twins because it's just for those two. But as they've gotten older into teenage years, they've probably separated a little bit more in terms of their own friendship groups, and we're hoping that my wife and I are hoping that as they get older, they'll come back together and be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So but
I'm sure they will.
My mum has sort of had the same philosophy, and now as me and my brother are both sort of moving out now, she's really like emphasizing the fact that she wants us to still meet up regularly and have some sort of relationship, because she thinks it's really important. And I mean, me and my brother Billy, we do share a lot of interests and stuff, especially in films and stuff. So I do want to try and keep that relationship going.
I mean, he's moving to the same place we are, so
yeah, he's moving to the same city.
Perfect. You know what? You sit down and watch Brother Bear together.
Yeah, absolutely.
or Brother Bear 2. So
yeah,
I've not seen the second one.
Yeah, actually, I don't think we have either.
Wow.
I know of it. I don't think we have. They may have, but I don't think I have. Yeah. So very good. All right, let's take another quick break and get into some quick fire questions for you guys. Don't think too hard about them. Just a couple of things that I've come up with here to ask you, and you both get a chance to answer as well. Doesn't have to be the hive mind on this one. So
cool.
All right. So what's something that makes you really mad?
Ooh.
For me, it's inequality. I am a real stickler for fairness, and if things aren't like black and white fair, it can really irritate me sometimes. I understand that sometimes things have to be, not everything can be exactly equal, but when you're in a situation like at a job and like one co-worker's being treated better than another one and stuff like that, that stuff really just makes me angry.
Yeah, favoritism.
Yeah, favoritism, yeah.
Tiegan?
I think for me, mine would be communication, like a lack of it. when someone like knows information and they're not telling you, or they've assumed that you will know, just anything like that. Like, I've worked in many workplaces where communication was not their main aspect of the job, and it all failed because of it. Like, you've just got to communicate with one another, and it's really not that hard.
Communication is key, is what we always say.
Yeah, we always say communication is key on court cases. Okay, communication.
So, what's your favourite holiday destination?
That we've been to, or that we want to go to?
That you want to go to. It could be either. Okay. It could be either.
Mine is Canada. It's on my bucket list. I really want to go to Canada and see bears in the wild.
Yep.
Like, that's top of my list. What about you?
Instantly Japan came up. I've always wanted to visit Japan. Just their culture really intrigues me. Yeah, that it's so different over there. It's beautiful over there.
Also a bit friendlier than China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Japan. Yeah.
Yep. Very good, and both fantastic choices, I think. So, what's the best fashion advice either of you have ever gotten?
Fashion advice. Mine would probably be don't give a shit, which my friend Will, I think, told me that a few years ago, because there's so many people that they're trying to get on these trends and stuff like that. And he said to me, just wear what you like to wear and what shows like your personality. And nowadays, I really love Hawaiian shirts.
Okay.
Like, most of my wardrobe is colourful shirts that I'll wear.
He's not joking.
And and Sweet Tea, when she first started getting together with me, she didn't like it at the start. Okay. But then when she started to get it, and I was like, well, I'm just wearing what matches my personality and what I like to wear.
Hawaiian
and
shirts.
Now T's dad bought me a Hawaiian shirt the other day. And also T as well has started to wear a bit more stuff that just shows your personality more than what you think other people would like.
I think my advice would be from you, like you just say to me, like, just wear what you're comfortable wearing. Like, don't follow trends. Like, just if you're like, even like comfort wise, or even just generally like mentally, what you're comfortable wearing, that's so important.
Yeah, if you're comfortable in your own skin, and if you're comfortable in what you're wearing,
it doesn't matter what
then
think,
you
really
will come off as a more approachable person. So I would rather like turn up to some sort of like smart event in a Hawaiian shirt, but I'm comfortable and I know that, like, you know, I feel good and I feel like me, than, you know.
I remember I didn't used to wear as much colour as I did before you, and I remember you said don't be scared of colour, and now I love colourful clothes.
Great. That's fantastic. I'll see you're good for each other. Favorite band?
Easy. Weezer.
Yeah, yours. Okay. Easy.
I'm seeing them on June 24th. I'm seeing that Hella Mega tour that they're doing with Green Day and Fall Out Boy. I'm so excited.
Very good.
I don't think I listen to like bands.
No, your favorite is Post Malone.
Yeah, my favorite artist is Post Malone.
Okay. Yep. Post Malone's
cool.
But
as not a band I can think of.
No, that's all right. Not a problem. That's perfect. Okay. Now, this one's probably more for James than it is Tiegan, but this also emanates from one of the episodes that I listened to. Your favourite James Bond actor?
Oh, Christ. I do. I think he's an unpopular opinion, but I do really like Pierce Brosnan.
Really?
In a few of his.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, I do. But I think it's an overused answer, but Daniel Craig was good. He was good.
Oh, Daniel Craig was good. He's not my favourite. I actually like Sean Connery, but
yeah, Sean Connery is a great one. I do like some of the older films. Some of the older ones I prefer, like the villains like performances than I do the Bonds as much.
Okay,
because some of the villains are so like interesting and iconic.
Yes,
but I think Daniel Craig probably, if I had to think about it,
he is really good. He is really good. All right. If you could go to dinner with 3 people from history, this is a pretty usual sort of a question that people get asked, but I'm interested to find out who you would pick. If you could go to dinner with 3 people from history, who would it be?
From history?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to have a quick think, but I think I've got my 3. I know one absolutely would be Johnny Cash.
Really?
I would kill. Yeah, I love country music.
Okay.
My granddad raised me on country music, and also I've seen that film about his life,
Yes.
and I would just ask him so much
Okay.
about, his beliefs, like his life, what he did. So Johnny Cash would definitely be one.
That was Joaquin Phoenix who played Johnny Cash?
It was Joaquin Phoenix, the guy that played Joker.
Yeah.
It's a really good film. I think I would be interested in going. It's one of the like presidents from like the 60s or something like that. Someone like Richard Nixon or John F. Kennedy. I think would be interested to see. And I'm going to go with most of mine have all been American. I think I've not picked anyone British. Another one would be any of the astronauts that were involved in the space race.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that was another podcast episode I did where I did loads of research on it.
Okay.
Which was the moon landings and the space race. And learning, talking to someone that was actually doing it would be really interesting.
I don't know.
You not got anyone from history?
No one's sticking out for me.
Well, JFK would be a great one because you could talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis and everything that happened then. That'd be a great one. Yeah. So,
and he was also the person that said we're committed to putting someone on the moon. So you could talk to him about that as well.
Yeah, definitely. No one, Tiegan?
No one's jumping out at me. I find it really hard to think of answers on the spot, don't I?
You do, yeah. You struggle with this a lot.
I really do.
Sorry, I should have actually sent them to you.
No, it's honestly fine.
Winston Churchill?
Michael Jackson came to mind just because I'd be interested in finding out.
That would be good because you could find out
his life and
whether
how it all happened, how like his death all happened.
Whether he was creepy or not. I don't think he was. Yeah. But
then there's people that say that he's still alive. Have you seen that?
I've seen that conspiracy theory. Yeah, Michael Jackson would be a good choice.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, that would be it'd be interesting.
An interesting dinner.
I know that it's 3, but one more, Robin Williams.
Oh my God, yes, that's a shout. I'll pick him as well. Actually.
Yeah, in fact, I would just invite only him. You can have 3 people. No, I'll just have Robin Williams for dinner, please.
Well, he could be enough people on his own anyway, so enough characters. So
do impressions of the other 3.
Exactly right, and you would not stop laughing, I dare say. So he'd be a fantastic dinner guest. All right. Last one. What's something about yourselves that probably people wouldn't know to ask or wouldn't expect to know about you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Something that people wouldn't know to ask about me.
Maybe an interest or something like that is a little left of centre considering your personality or...
Yeah,
country music. There's one actually.
Yeah, well, that's that. You know what? That probably would be one of them. Yeah, because there's not many people my age that, especially in the UK, that are into country music. I think that's quite a interesting aspect. I think, and I think that's going to be my answer. I think. Do you have an unusual thing that you think people wouldn't know about you specifically?
Do you think I do?
She does TikTok dances.
Okay.
I don't feel like it would come up in conversation though.
No, but you don't post any of them, do you?
No.
But she likes to do a bit of TikTok dancing.
Well, you have to start posting them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're quite good at them, to be fair, because you learn the moves really well.
Good.
Yeah.
I can't dance for shit.
Yeah, that's one. So, there you go.
But,
he has no rhythm. Yeah. That's something.
But that's why your dances impress me, because I can't even begin to learn.
But you don't even have the patience.
No.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go with that. I guess.
That'll do. That's fine. All right. Let's finish off this list. Let's get to your number 1. What is your movie coming in at number 1?
Yeah, it's a more recent one that came out.
The most recent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the most recent on this list, and it was nominated for a few Oscars. It's Don't Look Up, which was a Netflix movie with like a huge all-star cast.
Amazing cast.
Yeah.
I think the reason that it left a lasting impression because not only was it a film essentially about climate change, even though it was about a meteor hitting the Earth, but it really made me realize how much like the richer people and the corporations just don't care, and they don't care about you, because there's this turning point in the film where they have like two options and they take like the riskier option because it could earn them more money.
Yeah.
And it basically just costs the world, basically them choosing to do that. And it's such a metaphor about how, and also in a way, it's like when there's a lot of people that work jobs and they work jobs for these big companies and they give up like time with their family and time with friends and stuff because, you know, they're worshipping the company, you know, and it made me realize that they don't have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And so while you should, you know, work for these places and you should have a stable job and things for the rest of your life, but you do need to prioritize what's important to you 100%, because they're prioritizing what they want.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
And I think it's an important message.
And also Leonardo DiCaprio's acting
he's good in everything.
Yeah. But his passion in that, though.
Towards the end of the movie, when he's giving that speech on live TV and he's just giving it his all. I love him.
Crazy.
He's so good. My favorite Leo performance is in Django Unchained.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Oh, he plays such a good villain because his personality in it is so likable. Yeah. And he seems like he's puts on such a show, yet he's literally being one of the most despicable people ever. Yeah. And he plays it so well.
Yeah, setting dogs on people, that's not exactly the greatest guy around.
And he does it with that Leo smile on his face. Yeah. He's literally setting dogs on people. Oh, such a good performance.
I think they call that smile a shit-eating grin. So,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all right. Fantastic. Well, that's your 10. And by the way, did you know that Don't Look Up is actually also a Japanese horror movie?
Oh, what? Of the same name?
Of the same name. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, it's funny. But you might have to go watch that.
Oh, definitely.
All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. That was a great 10. And it was a really enjoyable chat, getting to know you guys a little bit better. I hope everyone has benefited from listening to you guys, and will go out and listen to your show as well, because I find it really entertaining. And like I said, I think the chemistry and the dynamic between you two is really, really entertaining. And Tiegan, I hope, even if you do have to do it by remote, please stay on the show. I know you're following your career, but please stay on the show, because
absolutely.
Great. Guys, this is your chance to plug all your content and all the contact points that you've got. Go for it.
We have got a website just dedicated to the podcast called courtcasepodcast.com. So you can find loads of stuff on there, all our episodes, blogs, things about us and our guests. But we are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, all of the streamers.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Just search the Court Case Podcast. And our main social media is Instagram, which is @CourtCasePodcast. Fairly easy to find us on all those places. Just search in those 3 words.
We're trying to get into TikTok a little bit more.
Yes, yeah.
Which is the same.
Which is the same, Court Case Podcast. So we're going to start making more content on there. But yeah, you can find us on all of those places. And you've been an amazing interview as well.
Yeah, really proud.
We've one of our favourite appearances in a while.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoyed the chat with you.
That's very nice. Very kind of you. Thank you. That's great. I'd love to have you back on again sometime too. So obviously we'll keep in touch through Instagram and things like that, and the other avenues that you've got there. And I'll be following your careers with much interest. So
yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, guys. Look, thank you very much again. It's been great. You have a really good day, and I'll catch up with you on the socials.
Yeah, keep us updated. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
That's it, folks. Another episode down and the end to season 2. I hope you have stuck with me this far and enjoyed the chat with James and Tiegan, and that you will pop on over and give their show a listen. Their recent shows with Flat Earth Dave were a lot of fun, and Dave skirted with death by inferring to James that dinosaurs didn't exist. As you heard, James has a particular affinity with Jurassic Park and the dinos. But great people, and I hope to chat with them again in the future. If you would be so kind, please follow my show on your preferred platform, rate and review where you can, and if you think someone else might like my show, feel free to tell them about it. Also, feel free to take a look at my new website, and if you would like to support the show, all the links are there and in the show notes for this episode. But for now, thanks for listening, and I'll chat at you again next episode and next season.